Hello, my fellow comic book collectors. It's Alan, the Comic Collector Geek, and these are the hottest Golden Age comics of the week. And let's get right into it. First comic is the Steal of the Week. This is a comic that I actually was bidding on, but I missed the end. I was like, got distracted. I was doing a live stream, and then I missed the end. It is Howdy Duty #1. And this is from Dell, 1950. It is actually the first comic that featured a TV series in a comic. So basically the NBC show Howdy Duty, well, this is the first time it's in a comic, and it's also the first time any show is in a comic. So it's kind of a cool historical book. So I was going for it, but totally missed the last bid. Well, it was a steal. Whoever bought this, congrats, because you got a great deal. This was a 4.5 that sold, and it sold for $109.50. Now, the previous record for this book was set back in February of 2023 for $330, so 3 times as much. And there was even a 4.0 that sold in 2021 for $240. So this is well below previous sales for for this grade, for this kind of book. Just a really great deal somebody got on this one. There's 52 of these on the census, and 51 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 9 on the list is Walt Disney Comics and Stories number 20. This is from Dell, 1942. It features a great Donald Duck dressed as Uncle Sam, and he's promoting war stamps. So really cool, like historic book, like, you know, World War II memorabilia kind of style. Very cool book. Now this one was a 4.0 that was the best offer. It was originally priced at $500, but they took a best offer of $420. Now, there is no sales history for this book, but a 3.5. So this is a record just because it's the first of of this grade to sell. But there was a 3.5 that sold in 2021 for $412. So slightly up compared to what the 3.5 I sold for in 2021. But yeah, so not a big sale, but not a bad sale. It's a strong sale for this book. There are only 36 of these on the census, and 35 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 8 on the list. This is Shock Suspense Stories. I forgot what number. And it's from EC Comics, 1954. I'll put in the notes what issue number this is, because that's kind of funny. And it's a Jack Kamen cover. It's a great strangulation cover. I actually have this book in my collection in a lower grade than the one that sold, but this is a great one. This girl's getting strangled. You got this guy with these big hairy hands and dark eyes. He's kind of hidden behind her and strangling her. Great headlight cover. Just a really cool book. This was actually Ryan that sold this book from Automatic Comics, and he sold it for a 4.5 for $500. Now, the previous record for this book was set back in April of 2023 for $284. So he basically doubled his money. There are 116 of these on the census, and 113 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Number 7 on the list is Diary Love #1. This is actually an interesting one, and I'll get into it. This is from Bell Features from 1949. It features Bill Ward art. This is a kind of a one shot because the book changes title after this. It becomes Diary Loves in issue number 2. So Diary 1, Love Diary #1 is kind of like the first of the series, but the title gets changed. This was, as I said, a Canadian edition one, and it was a 5.0 that sold. It sold for a best offer of $600, and it's actually a new record for the Canadian one. There was a 6.0 that sold in February of 2023 for $192. Even the US edition for this book normally sells for around $330. And the last sale for it was in February of 2023 for $336. So, a very strong sale for this book. However, the Canadian edition is quite rare. There's only 2 of them on the census, and even the American edition is quite rare. There's only 9 universal copies on the census. So just a rare book, very cool cover. Features really great Bill Ward, Good Girl art. Just a cool book altogether. Number 6 on the list is Strange Worlds #1. This one was interesting. This is Avon Comics 1950. It features a great sci-fi cover. This girl is like coming out of the rocket, shooting the aliens and stuff. She's wearing a bikini because that's what you do. And just a really cool sci-fi cover. Now this was a 6.5 that sold, and it sold for $687 with 41 bids. So people really were trying to get this book. This one actually is down from its ultimate record, which was set back in 2019 or 2017 for $800. But the previous sale for this book was $578, which was only like 5 days before this sale. So, both in February. This one is a strong sale because it basically, that new price that was set in like 5 days before it really was kind of where it was trending towards. But now it's gone up $100 and it's more back to where that previous record was. So really interesting one. It's one of those ones where it's actually fairly common. I see this book fairly regularly. There are actually 90 on the census, and 84 of them are universal blue labels. So one of those books that you see more often, but it's definitely a cool book, and that's why people bid it up. So really, very interesting one. Number 5 on the list is Adventures into the Unknown, number 58. This is from ACG 1954. It's a Harry Lazarus cover, and it's a really cool book because it's a 3D cover. Now, when I say 3D, I don't actually mean the one that you require glasses for. This is actually done with True Vision, where what they did was they'd have like a black border, and then they would have like sort of muted background images and very prominent foreground images, where they kind of created this 3D effect without the need of glasses. It was a very cool thing that ACG did, and they did it with, I think it was like 13 or 14 different books, like issues, I should say, of different titles that they did it with. It's just a really cool piece of history. And this one is kind of actually a pretty popular robot cover because it's a weird one. He kind of looks like he's being a little bit too friendly with the train that he's catching. So just a really cool robot cover as well. This was a 4.5 that sold, and it sold for $1,040. This is the highest sale across any grade for this book. There was a recent 5.0 that sold for $720 in April of 2023. So this is actually up $300 over the higher 5.0 sale. So just a really, really strong sale. Just as a personal FYI on this book, I bought this book back in 2022, actually 2022, for just under 500. It was like 490 or something like that. And mine's a 3.5. So it's gone up quite a lot in that time period. There's only 27 of these on the census, and 25 of them are universal blue labels. The next one is one that's been on the list before. This is Planet Comics number 58. This is from Fiction House, 1949, and it's a Joe Doolin cover. It's actually a classic cover that's been cover swiped many times. I believe just recently by Archie, and it was also cover swiped by Dave Stevens for his Planet comic. Planet, I think it's Planet Comics or Planet Comic. Yeah, I think it's Planet Comics as well. #1. So just a classic cover, good girl art cover, and a sci-fi cover, I should say as well. Now, this was a 7.0 that sold, and it sold for $1,560. Now, this is a new record for this book. The previous record for this book was set only 3 days prior, or actually, kind of weird. There was a sale on February 6th, actually, for $1,560. And then there was a February 9th sale, which is actually after, for $1,400. So interesting how this one actually, the record was set just recently, but it didn't quite maintain that record with the sale afterwards, I should say. So very interesting one. But there are 102 of these on the census, and 99 of them are Universal Blue Labels. Next one on the list, #3, is Marvel Mystery Comics #87. This is from Timely, 1948. It's maybe a Ken Bald cover. I'm not sure if it's Ken Bald or Sid Shores. It doesn't look like Sid Shores, but it's one of those ones where they don't denote who is the cover artist. I'm guessing it's Ken Bald, but you can tell me in the comments below who did the cover. I don't know. So I'm just guessing Ken Bald. But it's a really cool cover. You got this kind of wedding cover where the mobster is basically forcing this girl to marry him, and the reason for that is if you cannot testify against your husband or spouse or wife, so basically the criminal is forcing the woman to marry him in order to prevent her from testifying against him because she's a witness to the crime. So very cool cover. It's also the first team up between Captain America and Golden Girl. Just a very cool book altogether. This was a 7.0 that sold. It also was one of those best offers on eBay. It was originally priced at $2,050, but they accepted a best offer of $1,500. Now, the previous record for this book was set back in 2019 for $925. So this is up 50% from the prior record. So just a very strong sale for this book. There's only 68 of these on the census, and 60 of them are Universal Blue Labels. #2 on the list is Batman #17 from DC Comics, 1943. It is a Jerry Robinson cover. And this one's a really cool one. You got Batman and Robin riding an American Eagle. You got the planes in the background, and they are yelling out, "Buy war bonds." It's very patriotic. It's very World War II classic cover. Just a really great book. So this one was a 7.0 that sold, and it sold for $4,000 from My Comic Shop. Now, this is an interesting one because I actually think that My Comic Shop might have underpriced it because the previous record for this book was set back in October of 2021 for $4,320. Now, I think when they price things at My Comic Shop, they look at the most recent sales history, which is a good thing for the buyers. But there was a sort of a one-off sale that happened in June of 2022 for $2,400. So basically, the most recent sale was a low sale, kind of an outlier sale, and they might have priced it based on that. And so somebody basically got a bit of a steal, a little bit of a bargain on this book, because it should have sold for probably around $4,500. So it was a bit of a nice deal for somebody out there who bought it on My Comic Shop. There are 248 of these on the census, and 216 of them are Universal Blue Labels. number 1 on the list is a really great comic. This is Detective Comics number 66. It's the first appearance of Two-Face, Harvey Dent. It's also the third appearance of the Boy Commandos. And this is from DC Comics 1942. It's also a Jerry Robinson cover. And this was a 1/8 sale. Now, 1/8 seems to be a very common grade for this book. This one is one of those books that I guess people just loved and read because there's a lot of low-grade copies of this book. And this was a 1/8 that sold for $7,001. $7,601, I should say. Now, this was an eBay sale. It had about 26 bids, so people were actively bidding on it, but it is a low sale. The previous record for this book was set back in January of 2022 for $8,400. Now, there is probably some reason for the little bit of a drop on this book because that record was set during COVID and certain Batman keys had gone up during the COVID spikes. So kind of still a strong sale. It's a little bit down, but overall good sale. There are 120 of these on the census, and 91 are Universal Blue Labels. So that's it. That is the hottest Golden Age comics of the week. I hope you enjoyed this list. Please put your comments below and tell me what you think. And did you buy any of the books from the list? Because I always get notifications from people telling me, oh, I bought that book. So it's always interesting. So if you can tell me in the comments below as well. So thanks again for watching. Bye for now.